I had the weirdest experience at the Waldorf Estate in Lehighton, Pennsylvania last weekend. I'm not gonna lie. So let's talk about it. Now, before I get into this video, meet Mickey. He is a REM pod, so if anything goes near it, he's gonna light up and make a sound. So, you have to be pretty close to him for him to go off. But so, we're going to do a little preface here. So last weekend, my mother-in-law, or future mother-in-law, technically, but so we decided to go on a girls' trip with 3 of us. So it was me, her, and my future sister-in-law. But so we were like, let's do something fun, and so we decided to go to the Paracon. That was in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, which is like in the Poconos, and we wanted to, experience some spooky ooky stuff. And so on the venue area, they have this haunted, some of them call it a haunted hotel, some of it call it the Hell House. They call it Hell House because it was in the movie Hell House LLC. But, it's pretty much a house and it's haunted. So, I didn't have any knowledge about, what happened there or what was going on there, because I like to go into it blind because I don't want my ego or my brain to, put things together and not be able to get it psychically, because if I do that, I won't be able to get it psychically, or I'll question whether or not it was just my brain being smart instead of, if it was psychic impressions. But yeah, so we decided we would go there for that weekend and explore. But so the night before, my future mother-in-law and I had some weird ass dreams. Okay, mine had some dark undertones to it, and it looked like so I didn't know what the house looked like before. So when I had this dream, technically it was an actual experience because I was seeing the spirits on the property, and they were very dark. They weren't demonic or anything. It was just earthbound spirits that had become extremely negative, and some of them almost demonized, but not demons specifically. But so I was seeing that and I was like, that's weird. And yeah, and the whole experience was just dark and undertone. And I remember seeing all of them on the front lawn. And then, when we actually got there, I noticed similarities to what I saw. I mean, back then, it didn't kind of look what it looks like now. But, back in the time it was built, it made sense that it would look the way I saw it in the astral realm experience. But, before going into that house or hotel, whatever you want to call it, we, went around the different vendors and spoke to different paranormal groups. And one of the groups we met, a group of investigators called We Are Paranormal, and they're awesome. But so, we start talking to them, and then all of a sudden I start getting visuals of the entity in that house. And I'm like, yo, I'm clairvoyantly getting this chick that's really pale with really dark, long hair in front of her face, and it gives me The Ring vibes, if you've ever seen that movie before. But right, so I start describing her to them. I'm like, so I'm seeing this chick, and she's creepy, you know what I mean? And so I'm describing her to them, and they're like, yeah, someone said they saw somebody that looked like that. And I'm like, oh, bet, validation, that's cool. And, I did some more talking with them and a little self-promotion. I'm like, hey, if you need a medium, I am one. And then I showed him my new deck, and I did a reading on the one guy, and I was like, accurate as fuck with those new cards. And I was like, hell yeah. But maybe in the future I'll get to work with them. That would be awesome if I could. But to get some field experience, like in the physical, because I do a lot of this stuff metaphysically and through meditation, and I don't have to be in a location physically to get shit done, which is great, because, you know, this girl ain't got money to be traveling, really. But so, you know, I proved myself, basically, and, you know, went around some vendors again, and then eventually, you know, we decided we'd go in that house. So I went in there with my friend, and we went in there the first time without our future mother-in-law. And, you know, as we were going through it, she starts feeling sicker. She's got a headache. She's nauseous. I was feeling it too, but I knew it wasn't me. It was like a disassociated feeling. And so, you know, I'm like, okay, it's either from her or just the energy in the house. And, you know, as we get through, like, the middle of the house, you know, she's like, oh, my head really hurts. And then I start seeing clairvoyantly the spirit chick going, like, jamming her in the third eye, like, stabbing her. And I'm like, this ain't good. And, you know, I tried my best to, you know, kind of, like, get out of here kind of thing and, like, get her to stop. But this is what I'm going to say as, like, a little life lesson here for those who are watching and are interested in this work. When you are meditating and you're doing this work remotely, it is much different than when you're in the physical mix of it all, okay? When you are sitting there meditating and you are focused, you don't have all those other distractions getting in the way. You don't. Whereas if you're there physically, it's a little difficult because you have all those distractions. So, you know, there were other people there. You know, we had to focus on walking and being careful because it was dark. You didn't want to run into anything or trip or fall. So it's like we're trying to focus on, you know, maneuvering around that space safely and not bumping into people and all that. And when you're doing that while also trying to protect yourself and other people, it's difficult, okay? I'm not going to lie. Because I don't have a lot of experience doing it in the physical. I'm not going to lie. It was harder, okay? And, you know, that's why I want to do more physical investigations to build up that skill. So, yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. But so, as she's being jabbed in the head, I'm trying to, like, be like, get the fuck out of here, right? And also try to make light of the situation, not because it's funny or anything, but because if I can put out a vibe that is, you know, lighthearted and chill, like we're having a good time, that means that she would be less afraid. And it would also help raise her vibration, right? So the whole goal was to do it that way instead of, you know, focus trying to meditate while also walking around and, like, dodge people. If I could raise the vibration of the space and the person next to me, it would be harder for that spirit to be effective against them. But, yeah. So, that's what I tried to do. And, yeah. So, we're walking around. We get to the room with the REM pods, right? It's where I got Mickey, the REM pod. And, you know, we're talking to the people, and I'm like, oh my god, is this a REM pod? And blah, 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 right? This is so cool. I got the one with the red eyes because it's creepy, and, you know, that's the kind of person I am. The blue was a little too, you know, I don't want to say boring, but, you know, if you know me, I have a dark sense of humor, and I like scary shit. But, yeah. So I start talking to the guy, and I'm kind of, like, mentioning what I see and what's going on to her, or what's happening to my friend, and the REM pods are lighting up as I'm talking about it. And then we're not touching them, we're not anything, okay? They're just going off as I'm talking about her. And I can see she likes it. She likes the attention. And so before we leave, I'm like, you know what, spirit girl? Have a good time terrorizing people. You obviously, have a great time doing that. And the freaking REM pod go off when I say that. And I wish I had that filmed, but it was so funny because it was like her acknowledging it of what I said. And I was like, that's funny. But so, we go and we, come out. We do a little vendor looking again. And then, our future mother-in-law then, wants to go in. And we're like, okay. Now, the thing is, the most activity or the worst activity is in the basement. We had VIP tickets, but they wanted to charge us another $15 to go down there. So we're like, fuck that. We're not going to go down there when we paid for VIP tickets. That's supposed to include that. Like, no, fuck that. So we didn't go in the basement, which honestly, I didn't have to go in the basement. I don't even technically have to be in the house to get psychic feedback because I was already getting it on the outside and the night before, as I was having astral realm experiences. But so, we all go in there. And, my friend, she's like, oh, I feel yucky again. I'm like, yeah, it's the energy in this house, and the ghost bitch, likes you. She likes terrorizing her and stabbing her in the third eye. But, yeah, so it is haunted. I kind of wish I would have been in the basement, but at the same time, I really don't, it doesn't really interest me either. I wasn't willing to spend an extra $15 just to do something we should have been able to do in the first place. Yeah. So, as we're trying to leave, because I keep talking about her, I gave her a nickname. I shouldn't have done it because it's disrespectful, so learn from my mistakes. But I was mad because of what she was doing to my friend, because she kept jabbing her in the head and making her feel like shit, so it pissed me off. Which isn't a good, that's not a good excuse. But so I started calling her ghost bitch. And then the car started malfunctioning. And, for whatever reason, it switched into a different mode by itself. And it wouldn't drive right. And, my future mother-in-law was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I don't see anything, messing with it. Like, as far as something that we did. Because I'm sitting in the passenger seat next to her. And so, I watched as she, put it in the right gear. And I didn't see any, oopsies that she did. It was a spirit chick that messed with it. And I'm like, okay, well, Spirit's telling me if you restart the car and try it again, it'll be fine. And it worked fine. But that was so weird. And then, we went back to the hotel. And I was like, this still doesn't feel right. The energy's still a little off. And so I got my Sage and Palo Santo spray. And I sprayed us all down. Got that out of the way, did the hotel room. And then, my future mother-in-law was like, oh my God, it's 4:44 right now. And I wasn't looking at the time. I wasn't thinking about it. And I looked at the TV. And it said 444, and if you don't know, that angel number is an angel number of protection. So for me, that was validation that what I did successfully protected everybody in the hotel room. So that happened, and yeah, it was really neat. But the people there were awesome, nice. The medium there was nice. The guests were nice. Everybody was awesome. It was pretty small for an event like that, but like I said, I don't mind that because when there's a lot of people, A, you can't breathe and it's congested, but 2, the energy from everybody makes things uncomfortable. And it would have been really hard to maneuver through that house if there were more people because it was already cramped. But yeah, I had a great time, they had a great time, and that's all that really mattered. But so, from what I could tell, there were multiple human spirits there, but there was one that was more dominant than the rest, and this one was the chick that looked like the girl from The Ring with the dark hair and stuff, but she's becoming demonized. She's not quite there yet, but she's really dark and nasty. And I think she gets jealous of other girls, especially the blonde ones. My friend was blonde. So, yeah, I don't think she liked blondes. And even that was said to at the after party, that she don't like blondes. And they said there was some rituals that had gone on in the basement, which, okay, maybe. But I mostly sensed her with, some other earthbounds here and there, but they were very light in, energy. So, like I said, she was the biggest problem there, causing issues, growling at people, and, yeah. But, when someone's invading your space, you probably don't like it either, so I get it. But yeah, that was my experience there, and I thought I would share. So, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts, questions, concerns down below. Again, this was in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, which is, in the Poconos. And, yeah. So, see y'all soon, and thank y'all for watching. Peace.